Hey! Happy Friday! Yay! We made it! How are y'all doing on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day? Listen, I got a good one for y'all. I have such a good conversation. We are going to be talking about the most expensive mistake that women make before starting a business. Are you getting ready to start your business? Are you getting ready to start your business? Because if you are, this episode is for you. It's Friday. I hope you are feeling good on this Friday. I am feeling great. I am excited about this conversation. So, with that said, I just want to get into it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of Nick at Noon. My name is Nick Scott. I am the founder and CEO of Her Income Edit. We are an online education platform designed to help women turn their skills into coaching income, digital products, and online businesses so they can earn more, depend less on traditional employment, and design a life on their terms. If you have not already, I want you to go get your notebook and your pen. If this is your first time here, this is the drill. I'm going to say some things. You might want to jot some things down. And so it's a great idea right at the beginning for you to go get your notebook or your pens, go get your water, your coffee, your tea, your wine, your cocktail. Get comfortable, grab a snack, settle in, because this is going to be a great conversation. Share the link to this video in your group chat. Text the link to this video to a friend who keeps saying that she wants to do something for herself. Before I say anything else, I want to tell you something that I truly wish that someone had told me earlier. And I'm not saying this as a warning. I'm not saying it as a lecture. Listen, what I wish somebody would have told me is, something like a friend would say to you over coffee when she's done watching you spin your wheels. Okay? The most expensive mistake that women make before they start a business. It is not picking the wrong niche. It is not building a website too early or spending money on a logo or choosing the wrong platforms. It's not even starting too late. Listen, the most expensive mistake is spending years preparing to make money while the clock on your financial safety is already ticking. The most expensive mistake is spending years preparing to make money while the clock on your financial safety is already ticking. That is the most expensive mistake, and I wish somebody would have told me that a long time ago. A long time ago. I really want you to think about that, because I know what it feels like to be doing everything right. I know what it feels like to be doing research, to be watching videos like this one, to make lists, to take notes, to join Facebook groups, and to buy courses. I know what that feels like. And yet, you're doing all that, and your income hasn't started. Revenue hasn't started coming in. Money is not being made. I know exactly what that feels like. And here's the thing though, every month that passes, that gap between where you are and where you want to be, it gets wider. And that is a very expensive mistake to make. It's not one single bad decision in this. It is a pattern of perpetual preparation that feels productive, but it doesn't produce anything yet. It doesn't move the needle on anything. And the crazy part about this is it's not your fault that you have fell into this perpetual preparation trap. It's not your fault. Because you were handed a blueprint that said, do it right, do it perfectly, figure it out all the way before you start, right? And that blueprint was built for a world where your job was stable, where your income was safe, and where starting a business was optional. But here's the thing, y'all. We don't live in that world anymore. So today I want to talk about what's costing you money before you've even made a single dollar. I want to give you a different way to look at the way you've been thinking about timing, the way you've been thinking about risk, the way you've been thinking about readiness. And I want to share why the path that most people, most women especially, overlook is often the fastest one. Let me say something. This conversation is going to be real. It is going to move quickly. And some of what I might say, it might make you feel uncomfortable. It might sting a little. And it might feel that way only because it's going to resonate, okay? So I want you to stay with me for this conversation. Like I said earlier, I want you to text the link to this video, put it in the group chat, text it to your biz bestie, and I want you to stay with me for this conversation, okay? Happy Friday. Thanks for joining. I see y'all on YouTube. Thanks for the love. Now, let me introduce you to a version of a woman that I have met 100 times. So this lady is smart. She is capable. She has skills that her co-workers, her clients, her friends, her family, and honestly, the internet would pay for. She has an idea. She probably has more than one idea. And she's been, thinking about this idea for 2, 3, sometimes even 5 years. And she knows she wants more. She knows her job isn't the full story. She knows there's something sitting on the other side of the leap that she hasn't taken yet. But guess what she's doing? She's waiting. What's she waiting for? She's waiting for more time. She's waiting until she saves more money. She's waiting to feel more certain. She's waiting until her kids get older or until she pays off some debt. Or she's waiting until she understands more about business taxes, or she's waiting until her schedule opens up. She's waiting until she's ready, y'all. But here's what I know about readiness. Readiness is a feeling. Remember earlier in these Nick at Noon's conversations, I spent a lot of time talking about how feelings are not facts. Readiness is a feeling. It is not a fact. It is not a finish line. And for most women, that feeling of readiness, it never completely arrives. Because the criteria for ready, it keeps expanding to include one more thing. It's a moving target. You'll tell yourself, you know what? I need a certification before I'm ready. I need to practice my discovery call one more time before I'm ready. I need to do one more round of market research before I'm ready. I need one more month of savings before I'm ready to invest. But what nobody tells you is this. The business you're waiting to start, it can't teach you anything until you start it. Has anybody ever told you that? Listen, you can study your market forever and ever and ever and ever and still be blindsided by your first client conversation. You can plan out your offer for months and discover in the second week of delivering it that a completely different version of it will sell better. The learning in building your business that's really going to change you, that is truly going to change you, is the kind of learning that builds your confidence, that builds the confidence that you're waiting to feel. And that kind of learning only happens when you do the work. Waiting for readiness is like waiting to feel like a swimmer before you get in the water. It's like waiting to feel like a mother before you give birth. It's like waiting to feel like a wife before you get married. It's like waiting to feel like whatever the next level of your role is in your organizational chart before you get there. And now I really want to tread lightly here. Be a little careful here because I'm not talking about being reckless, okay? I want to be very clear. I am not talking about being reckless. I am not telling you to quit your job tomorrow. I am not telling you to burn through your savings. I am not telling you to just throw a website together. What I'm telling you is that there's a specific version of not ready that has nothing to do with your knowledge or your skills. It all has to do with permission. And women, particularly women, us, hello, somebody, we have been socialized to wait for permission to take up space. We have been socialized to wait for permission to take up space. We've been told to wait until our idea is airtight, that nobody can critique that idea. We have been trained to wait until we feel qualified enough so then no one can question us. But while you're waiting for that level of permission, someone else has launched, they have learned, and they're already getting paid. And this someone knows half of what you know. And this is the part where the money gets expensive. And here's the thing. This doesn't happen because you're lazy or because you're not ambitious, because clearly you're not. If you are watching this video, if you are in my community, if you are subscribed to my channel, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, if you're on my email list, if you follow me on LinkedIn, if you watch my videos, you clearly are not lazy or unambitious because you are in my ecosystem. And like attracts like, okay? It's expensive because time. That is the one resource that you can never get back. You can't get time back. So every month that you spend preparing is a month that you spent not building. Every year you spend waiting is a year that someone else spent earning the money that you could have been earning, the income that you could have been generating, the clients you could have been serving, the skills you could have been getting paid for. All of that isn't just delayed. In a lot of cases, it's gone and it's never coming back. You can never get it back. And there's a phrase that I want to introduce you to. So if you're taking notes, this might be the place where you might want to start taking notes. If you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I want you to jot this down, drop this down in the comment section. And if you're taking notes, go ahead and write this in at the top on a fresh page in your notebook. The phrase that I want to introduce you to is the cost of inaction. Somebody drop the cost of inaction in the comments. If you're taking notes, write it at the top of a brand new page. Because we talk a lot about the risk of starting, right? We talk about the possibility of failure. What if this doesn't work? We talk about the money that you might lose, but we don't talk nearly enough about the risk of not starting. I'm talking about the clients that you don't serve, that you say that you want to serve, the income that you don't make, the money that you don't make, that you say you want to make, the confidence that doesn't get built, that you say that you want to build. The cost of inaction is real. Somebody drop the cost of inaction in the comments. The cost of inaction is just quieter. It's less identifiable than the cost of failure. So it doesn't scare you the same way, but it should. It should. Because here's what inaction compounds into. This is a compounding thing. Because a year from now, you could be in one of two places. You could be 12 months into building something. You could have clients, you could have income, you could have momentum, and you can have proof that whatever the thing is that you keep telling yourself that you want to do, a year from now, you could have proof that that thing works. So that's the first place you could be. The second place you can be in 12 months is exactly where you are today. You can still be planning, still waiting. You can still be telling yourself that you want more, that you know you can do more. Except 12 months from now, you've watched a whole nother year pass, and you've watched a whole lot of other women do the thing that you say that you want to do. And the version of you that is wondering to yourself, when is it going to be my turn? That voice is getting louder after 12 months. Because if you're watching this video, you know that you can get started now. And the thing about it is I don't want that for you. And I don't think you want that for you either. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Happy Friday. Now let's talk about something that most people are thinking, but they don't say it out loud. And that is your job creates this false sense of safety. Because, and this false sense of comfort. Because your job feels safe. I mean, it feels this way. Remember, feelings are not facts, because you have a paycheck, a steady paycheck that's paid in full and on time. Your job has a schedule, right? So it has structure. Your job has health insurance. You have a title, and you have, again, a predictable deposit on the 1st and the 15th, or every 2 weeks, or once a month, or whatever the cadence is, right? And compare that to the uncertainty of building something from scratch. Your job feels like the responsible choice, right? And I get it. I'm not going to argue with you about it either. But I want you to truly think about something. Your paycheck, it depends on one company literally deciding to keep you there. Your paycheck, it depends on one decision. This decision is made by people who don't even know, they might not even know your name, but they certainly don't know your full value. And this decision is made in a boardroom that you're not even invited to. The decision is made on a calendar, on a timeline that you don't control. Your job is not safety. Your job is a single point of failure. And I don't say this to scare y'all. I don't say this to scare y'all. I say this because I have watched too many smart, capable, high achieving, ambitious women build their entire financial life on one stream of income. And then these same smart, capable, high achieving, ambitious women, they have watched that one source of income disappear. Because of a layoff, because of a restructuring, because of a new leadership team, because a role gets eliminated, because of a health crisis, because of a family emergency, and then suddenly the thing that feels the most stable is gone. And the painful part in all this, y'all, is you have the skills. The women that I have watched this happen to, they had the skills that could have been generating income the whole time. These women just never activated them. And I don't want that for you. We live in a moment where the language of financial literacy has finally caught up to what wealthy people have known their whole lives. And that is, multiple streams of income are not a luxury. Multiple streams of income are a strategy. They're a buffer. They're what the people with options build before they need them. Listen, your 9-to-5 was never designed to be your only plan. It was always designed just to be one stream of income. And the women who understand that, they start to build their second stream of income while they have that first stream of income, while they have their job. They don't wait until after they lose it. They don't wait until they're desperate. They wait, or they get started when they're stable, while you have the time, while you have the cushion to learn. And here's what I want you to understand about what that second stream of income can look like. Because most women imagine starting a business. When most women imagine starting a business, they think it means building a product from scratch, or building an audience from scratch, or figuring out some type of tech and software that you've never touched before. They imagine spending a bunch of money that you don't have. And let's be clear, that is a version. That is one version. And that version is the version that takes the longest to get in the game. The faster version of this, and this is the version that most women are literally sitting on top of right now and they don't see, it starts with what you already know. I'm talking about your skills, your experience, your professional know-how, your life expertise, the things you've been doing for years at your job, in your community, or in your personal life. Those things have monetary value outside of your employer, outside of the group chat, outside of your household. Other people are literally searching for what you already know. They are struggling with problems that you've already solved. They're making decisions that you've already navigated. And listen, this isn't a hobby. This is a business model I'm talking about. I'm talking about coaching, consulting, fractional work, done for you services, digital products, trainings. These aren't industries reserved for people with platforms and followings and years of entrepreneurial experience. What I'm talking about, these are industries that belong to people who know something that other people need. And if you've been working in your field, if you have lived any amount of life, if you've lived as much life as I have or more, if you have walked this earth for 4 decades or more, I'm talking to you. This is you. What I described is you. And I want to push back on something because I know it's coming. And that is, but Nick, I don't know enough to teach anybody. Let me walk you through the last time someone at work came to you with a question that you immediately answered. I want you to walk me through that. I want you to walk me through the last time that someone asked you, how do you do that? And you just explained it like it was nothing. I want you to walk me through the last time a friend called you for advice on a certain situation that you'd already been through. Walk me through all that. Because all of that, those are skills that belong to you. And none of it requires for you to have a certification in order to monetize that skills. What it requires is a framework and a delivery method. So the myth that you have to know everything before you can charge anything, that myth is costing you money. It's costing you real money. It's costing you impact. You don't have to know everything. You have to know enough to help the person who is literally one step behind you. That's it. And I promise you, that person exists. And that person exists right now. And that person is searching for exactly what you've already figured out. No doubt about it. Now, I want to take this just another layer deeper, because everything that I just said, that's the logical case, right? So the skills, the business model, the income, the streams of income that you can create, that is logical. And you probably follow it. Hopefully you follow it. And you might even agree with it. But there's something else that's happening that keeps women from moving anyway. And it's not a lack of knowledge. It is a quiet, persistent question that most women don't even have the words for yet. And that question sounds something like this. Is this really for someone like me? Is what Nick Scott talking about, is she really talking to someone like me? Right? You're not thinking whether or not you can do it. You might be thinking whether or not you even belong in this space. Because somewhere along the way, you internalized an image of what builds a business. You internalized the type of people who coach other people. You've internalized some image of the type of woman who charges for her time, who gets to call themselves an entrepreneur. And the image that you've internalized, it might not look like you. It might look younger. It might look more polished. It might look further along. It might look louder, and it might look more certain. And so even when the strategy that I just talked about, even when it makes sense to you, there's a hesitation. There's this low hum of, is this really for me? Even when your skills are there, and even when the need for your skills are real, there is still hesitation. And I want to talk about that because I think it's the most expensive thing on this entire list. Not the wrong niche, not a missing certification, not an unfinished website. I'm talking about the belief that someone who looks exactly like you, who sounds exactly like you, who dresses exactly like you, who has the same hairstyle as you, who lives in the same zip code as you, someone at the stage of life that you're in with the exact same background at you, with the same responsibilities as you, that belief that someone who looks like you can build something that pays. She can build something that pays her a premium. So when you're questioning what I just said, if you are believing, oh my gosh, I couldn't do this, that belief is a lie. But it's a convincing lie. And it doesn't get louder when you're failing. It gets louder right before you succeed. The belief that you are not the type of person that does this. That belief gets louder right before you make a move, right before you take a step, right before you send an email, right before you launch your offer, right before you tell someone what to do. And that's when the voice says, who do you think you are? We talked about the voice a few episodes a couple weeks ago, didn't we? We talked about that voice. And I had an answer for everything that voice said. If you missed that episode, I want you to go back and watch that episode. I think it was the episode. I'm not going to lie. I'll just drop it in the comments after we're done here, okay? Yeah. So that's the voice. The voice is like, right when you're getting ready to level up, the voice is like, excuse me, ma'am, who are you to do this? And I want to tell you something that I have noticed after years of working with women who've built income from their skills. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who feel the most confident when they start. They are the ones who take action anyway. They're the ones who let the confidence build inside doing the work. Because confidence is not a prerequisite for starting. Confidence is a byproduct of doing. The genius is in the doing, y'all. The genius is in the doing, not in the waiting, not in the questioning. The genius is in the doing. And here is a perspective that I think is really worth thinking about and considering. Most women who go into coaching or consulting, they start in this because they want more money. I'm just going to say it. I don't come up in here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Mountain Time just for GP. I'm here because I'm building a business. I'm here because I have a calling. I'm here because I want to help women do the thing that I said at the top of this episode. I want you to earn more so you can depend less on traditional forms of employment so that you can start to design a life that is truly yours. So most women, they get into this because they want the money. But what they find, usually around week 4 or 5 of working with their first client, they find something that they didn't expect. They find that they're good at this. Not in a pat yourself on the back kind of way. It's in, this is the work I was made for kind of way. Didn't I just say I do this because I'm called to do this? My steps are ordered. I am showing up for the women that I am called to serve. And every single woman that I have worked with, she finds this out. Yes, I'm getting into it for the money, but this is the work that I was made for. They start to learn about themselves. They're like, yo, I can't believe that I can do this. I have been doing this for free for years in every relationship. Those are the discoveries that are made. And that is what I call alignment. And most women do not find alignment by thinking about it. They find it by getting in the room with it. The business becomes your vehicle. But who you become inside of that vehicle, that's the destination you didn't know. You had no idea that you were headed toward. Now, let me flip the script on this real quick, because I also want to be very honest about what happens when you keep waiting. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Happy Friday. Listen, when you spend another 6 months or another year in a role that doesn't challenge you, it doesn't pay you what you're worth, and it doesn't see what you're capable of, there is something a lot more subtle than burnout that starts to happen. You start to shrink. And this isn't dramatic, and it's not in a way that you would immediately notice. But the ideas you used to have, they come less frequently to you. The courage you thought you had, it starts to feel like something that belonged to a younger you. The curiosity that used to drive you, it gets replaced by routine. And then one day you look up and you realize that the gap between who you are and who you thought you'd be, that gap is wider than you ever expected it would get. I have watched this happen to women who had every single thing it takes. Skills, check. Drive, check. Capacity, check. They're in my ecosystem right now, and I've talked to some of them personally. Talk to them either via email, DM, Zoom call. I have spoken to some of these women directly. They have every single thing it takes. And I have told them that. You have it, girl. I've told them that. But they wait. And that's fine, because timing is everything. But here's the thing. Waiting will cost you something that you cannot put a dollar amount on. So again, this is not just about the money. Although we never minimize the money around here. I like money, and I hope you do too. This is about what you want your days to feel like. It's about whether or not the work you do every day reflects the full version of who you are and who you want to be. This is about whether or not you're building something that belongs to you, or are you continuing to build something that belongs to someone else. Income follows alignment every single time. And alignment starts with the decision to stop waiting to be picked. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. It starts with the decision to stop waiting to be picked and start building something on your own. Now, I want to take the pressure down for a second, okay? Because when I say start a business, I know what happens in your head. You start thinking about LLC. You start thinking about business bank accounts. You start thinking about websites and branding and social media strategies and funnels and email lists. And that, what I just said, is a full business infrastructure. And it can feel like you have all of that built before anything else can happen. And that is not true. Starting a skills based stream of income, it doesn't start with any of that. It doesn't start with an LLC and a business bank account and a website and branding and social media strategy, funnel, and email list. And I'm specifically talking about coaching or consulting. Listen, I watch YouTube videos every now and then. I don't just post them. And I came across another coach. I would consider this coach to be my direct competitor, except for the fact that we have different target audiences, but we're selling the same thing. We're talking about the same thing, right? And whenever I come across another coach like that, I'm always intrigued. Just, like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? And I watched one of this coach's videos, and I'm not going to name the coach, okay? So don't ask. I watched one of her videos, and in her video, she had, I don't know, like 5 or 7 things that you need to get started in a skills-based income stream like coaching or consulting. And one of those things that she said was a website. That is the complete opposite of what I teach here. And so, the video was good. Like, she was saying some really good stuff, but I just wasn't tracking with the fact that she trains her people to have a website first. And I'm going to be completely transparent. In some of my past programs that I offered to women and women have come through, I had them build a website. I did. And the website is not what you need when you start. The website is something that you do eventually need, but it's at a different place in the business. If you are just getting started in this, you don't need a website. And so when I watched this lady's video, and she was like, one of the 5 or 7 things, I don't remember how many it was a website, I left the comment. Because I asked her, I said, well, what are your thoughts about lean systems? Because she was talking about you need this whole infrastructure before you get started in this. That's simply not true. That is simply not true. So I had to push back on that. And I will always push back on that. Because even though you may talk to some past clients who have worked with me, and they're like, yeah, she had me build a website. You don't need it. Not to start off. That's wasting time and that's wasting money. What you need to do is get to the money as quickly as possible. And so that's why I don't teach building a website anymore when you start. That's why I teach building a website in my continuation programs. We talk all about branding and getting visible and social media and all of that in continuation programs. But what I want to teach you how to do is get to the money. I want you to make your first $2,000 or more as quickly as possible. And I want to truncate that timeline, and I want us to maximize your time so that you can start to get that confidence in this. So that you can get out here and serve the people that you say you want to serve. So that you can start to do the things like I said at the top of this episode. So that you can earn more. So that you can depend less on traditional employment. So that you can start to design a different life and a different future for yourself, for your family, and for your legacy. So no, you don't need a website. You don't need all this infrastructure. What you need to do is start with one question. And that is, who do I know something valuable enough to help? I said that wrong. What do I know that's valuable enough to help somebody? That's the question it starts with. Because that right there is your whole business. When you get into this, you're literally going to be focused, and particularly if you hire me as your coach, or if you buy any of my products, whether that's 2K in 2 hours, whether that is any of my free products, you'll see consistency. I now teach and train and coach on the principle of one person, one problem, one solution, one conversation. The infrastructure comes later. And that's why in my program, Ignite, it is focused on landing your first client or clients within those 3 months. Now, if you get through Ignite and you're like, this is amazing and I want to continue to work with you, that's when we start talking about infrastructure. But you got to have the money coming in first. Because if you don't have money coming in, but you have an infrastructure, baby, you don't have a business. One person, one problem, one solution, one conversation at a time. The infrastructure comes later. The infrastructure comes later. The audience comes later. Your funnel comes later. The first things that has to happen is the thing that most people want to skip past on their way to building the funnel. And that is identifying the specific, repeatable problem that you can solve for a specific person and getting clear enough on your value that you can say it out loud without blinking or flinching. And this is not a 6-month project when you have the framework, the right framework. This, what I'm talking about, can happen in weeks. And it's not because it's magic. It's because women already have 80% of what they need. It just needs to be organized. It needs to be named. It needs to be packaged in a way that another person can say yes to it. Okay? So you don't forget about that. And don't come in here telling me, well, you have a website, Nick. You're on social media. I've been doing this for years. I'm not just starting. So remember what I said. When you first start, you don't need all that. You need one person, one problem, one solution, and one conversation at a time. And once you start to generate income and generate revenue, that is when we can start talking about funnels and websites and personal branding. So let me tell you what coaching looks like from the inside as a complete business model. You don't have to have an office. When you first start, you don't need employees. You don't need thousands of followers. You don't need to be on every platform. You need a defined outcome that you can deliver. You need a process that gets someone to that outcome. And you need a way to communicate both of those things clearly to the person who needs what you offer. And you need a way for these people to pay you. That's a coaching business right there. And the fastest path to that outcome is not for you to do more research. It's not for you to plan more. It is having someone who has already built this walk. It is having someone who has gone through the specific decisions that you need to make in the exact specific order that they need to happen. So you're not piecing this together from 100 different sources that were each designed for a different type of business than the one that you're building. Because here's something that I want you to understand about when you take the self-taught path. It can work. Okay? You can teach, by all means, it can work, and I'm not dismissing it. But again, we've been talking about hidden costs all this episode, right? This whole episode. The hidden cost in teaching yourself, and this is the thing that nobody talks about. The cost is sequencing errors. Remember, I said there is a specific order that you must do things in. And when you're trying to figure this out and piecemeal this together, there's a cost of that sequencing because you're making a whole lot of mistakes. There is a cost to building things in the wrong order. And there's a cost of spending 3, 4, 6, 12 more months on something that you could have entirely skipped if you'd have known what the thing is that actually moves the needle first. It's the cost of doing everything right, but you're just doing it in the wrong sequence. And that right there is not a knowledge, experience, or skills problem. It is a guidance problem, and it's fixable. And the women that I have worked with who move the fastest, they aren't the most talented. They're not the most experienced. They're not the ones with the biggest platforms. They're the ones who stop trying to figure this out by themselves, and then they let someone like me show them the path that already exists. The ones who get moving, they're trading confusion for clarity. And that trade is worth every single dollar, every single time. I have made the investment myself, and I believe in it. Now, let me tell you about Ignite. I mentioned it a few minutes ago. I want to tell you about it, just a little bit more about it. And I'm not getting ready to pitch you, so you don't have to click off. You can keep watching. I just want to give an honest description about what Ignite is and who it's for. So Ignite is my 12-week group coaching program for professional women who are ready to build a skills-based stream of income, and you want to do it with a clear framework. You want to do it with a structured path, and you want to do it with a community of women who are already doing it, and you'll be doing it all together. So this is not a course that you're going to buy and forget. This is not a vault of videos that you watch on your own timeline when you feel like it. This is a program. And what that means is that you are in the program. It means that you're doing the work. It means that you're getting feedback. It means that you're making decisions. It means that you have support. It means that you won't be in isolation. It means that you'll be making progress. Ignite is for the woman who has been thinking about this for a while, and you're done thinking. You're like, I'm done thinking. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to build. This is for the woman who knows that she has something to offer. She knows that she needs the structure. She knows she needs the strategy, and she knows she needs the accountability so she can stop spinning her wheels and start moving. Here's what Ignite is not. This is not Ignite. So if you are someone who is still unsure whether or not you want to do this, Ignite is not for you. I have other things that I can point you toward, starting with my free guide, 101 coaching ideas. Ignite is not for someone who is looking for passive income without active work. Ignite is not for someone who wants a blueprint that you can follow, but you don't want to show up for it. Ignite is for the woman who is done waiting. She's done researching. She's done thinking. This is for the woman who is ready to stop consuming content about building a business and start actually building one. So inside Ignite, over the 12 weeks of our time together, you're going to build your coaching offer from the ground up. You're going to identify the specific outcome you deliver. You're going to develop your framework. You're going to develop the framework that gets your clients there. You're going to learn how to price. You're going to learn how to position. You're going to learn how to communicate your offer in a way that converts. You are going to get your first client or your next client. And you're going to do all of this with a group of women who are at the same stage with the same goal in a structured environment where the work doesn't just stop because life got busy. Listen, I built Ignite because the most common thing that I hear from women who are finally ready to start is, I don't know what to do first. Like, they have so much information, they don't even know how to process it all. And the second most common thing that I hear is, I have been trying to figure this out on my own, and I keep getting stuck in the same place. So Ignite removes both of those barriers because you are going to know exactly what to do, and you're not going to be doing it alone. Now I want to talk about the application process, because Ignite is not one of those things that you can just go purchase, and it's not open enrollment, and that's by design. But right now, applications are open. And I keep the cohorts for this, I keep them small, because the depth of coaching that happens in a small group, it is vastly different from what happens when you're one of 50 or 100 people in a program. So this cohort has a cap, and when it is full, it is full. And the next one does not open until the fall. So if you've been watching this live stream and you've been nodding along, I want you to pay attention to that. Because if anything that I said today, it felt like it was specifically meant for you, it's because it was. Because content that you receive that way, it just doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you're in the right season for this. It's because you're asking the right questions. It's because somewhere in you, you already know it's time. So you can learn more about Ignite and apply for the program on my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite, or you can click the link down in the description. And after you apply, here's what happens. So you submit your application. It's a short application. You submit your application. If it's a right fit, you and I will get on a call together. And I'm not going to try to convince you that you should enroll in Ignite. That's not what I do. There's not going to be any pressure, no hard sales. I want to have a conversation about your goals. I want to talk about your timeline. I want to talk about what you're building. And yes, I am going to talk about Ignite too, because that's the whole purpose, right? But if Ignite is a fit, if we decide Ignite is a fit during that conversation, we can talk about next steps. If it is not the right time, trust me, I'll tell you that too. I'm not out here for lottie-dottie and everybody. I'll tell you what though, the applications that I have gotten for Ignite, the applications that I got back in March, the applications that I've gotten during this application period, I have to tell you though, every single application that I've received, the woman who submitted the application is ready in some sense of the word. Okay? So they know that the program is for them. Some of the women, they just need a little bit more confidence in what the program is, or in themselves and their ability to do the work. For some of the women, they need a little bit more clarity on what it is that they want to do. For some of the women, the timing just isn't right for them. Right? And so if it is not the right next step and it's not the right time, I will tell you that. And I'll tell you honestly. Because just because now isn't the right time doesn't mean it won't be the right time a month from now, or 6 months from now, or a year from now, okay? So I will always guide you, whether you get on a call with me or not. If you submit an application, you're going to get some guidance from me. And I want you to do something for me right now, okay? I don't want you to close off this video. I don't want you to go back to the thing that you were doing before you pressed play or before you hopped onto this live. I want you to take 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. I want you to go to my website, herincomeedit.com/ignite, and I want you to read the page. I want you to look at what's included, and I want you to notice how it makes you feel as you go through that. And if it makes you feel excited, if it makes you feel inspired, if it makes you feel motivated, if it makes you feel like I can do this, I want you to lean into that feeling. If it makes you feel a little bit scared and nervous, that's probably the right answer too. If you have any questions about Ignite, you can leave them in the comment section of this video, or you can send me an email. I check the comments. You can drop the word Ignite in the comment section and I'll send you the link directly, so you don't have to go in your browser or even click the link in the description. I'll send you the link if you drop the word Ignite. But if you have questions, just let me know. You can send me a DM on Instagram. You can send me a DM on LinkedIn. You can email me, or you can leave your question right here in the comment section. So, how long have I been? Oh, yeah. Okay. We're getting to time. The thing about all this is every woman who has made it to the other side of starting, every single one of them had this one thing in common. I'm talking about the women who build multiple streams of income, the women who serve clients, the women who create the thing. The one thing that they all have in common is they started. Not their background, not their industry, not the time or the money. The thing that they have in common is that they started. And most of them didn't start when they felt ready. They didn't start when they felt 100% certain. They didn't start when the timing was perfect. They started when they decided that the cost of not starting was higher than the cost of starting. That decision is available to you right now today. And this isn't some motivational, this is your sign kind of way. I'm talking about in a practical, the clock is ticking. Your skills are sitting on the sideline idle. The life you want is possible kind of way. Your job was never meant to be your only plan. Your skills were never meant to just live inside somebody's org chart. And your financial safety was never meant to rest on one decision made by people who will never know. And even if they know it, they don't appreciate the full value of who you are. You have always had options in this. I'm just encouraging you to start building them. And that right there, that is what Ignite is for. I hope to see you on the inside. I hope to see your application come through. herincomeedit.com/ignite. Or you can click the link down in the description. Or like I said, you can drop the word Ignite in the comment section and I'll make sure that you get the link. Thanks so much for popping in and out of today's conversation. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you do not miss a beat. Turn your bell notifications on. I am a whole month into my 100-day video sprint. If you are watching the videos on my 100-day video sprint, just drop the number 100 in the chat to encourage me to keep this thing going. I can't believe it's been a month. I have posted videos every single day for a month, and I've been on here Nick at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Girl, what you doing with yourself? What you doing with your life? You know what I'm doing? I am being consistent, I'm being visible, and I am showing up for the people who need me so they can find me. Because I know there are lives to be changed in this. I know that there is money to be made in this. I know that there are options to be created in this. Okay? I know that income diversification in the way that I am teaching it, it's not out here the way that it needs to be out here. That's why we're doing the 100-day video sprint. That's why I'm showing up here live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Mountain Time. That's why I'm doing this, right? My steps are ordered. I had a whole conversation about that earlier. If you're just joining live, I encourage you to go back and watch the replay of this video. I got a little tangential like I sometimes do during these conversations. That's why I do the live videos also, because there's so much fakeness out here. There has always been fakeness. Always. There has always been fakeness on the internet. Listen, I've been on the internet since 2008 doing something, blogging, YouTubing, whatever the thing is. I have been on the internet publicly making money in some way, shape, fashion, or form on the internet since 2008. And there has always been fakeness on the internet. But in this day, with artificial intelligence, the way that thing is set up, the way people are, we don't even see people having real photo shoots anymore because they're putting all their pictures in AI and we can't even trust that it's real. People are posting videos of their AI twin. We don't even know if it's real. That's part of the reason that I do these live videos, because I want you to know that I am a real person up in here. There's some days I get up on here, my hair is looking crazy. No makeup on. That's part of the reason why I do this, because I want to maintain that authentic aspect to my business and to my brand. Okay. And I want you to see like my personality, like for real, my real personality, because on my videos on my YouTube channel, the ones that are not live, they're edited. So all of the times that I have to go back and redo a phrase because I mess up a word, all that stuff is edited out. It is not edited out here. It's not edited out here. And if you take my free live training that I offer every week, that is very focused and it's a structured training. So there's very little room for me within that 90 minutes that I promise you. I don't have a lot of room to go off scripts and to go, to take these tangential moments. So yes, I did get a little tangential in this conversation. I did kind of talk about why I'm doing this. I talked about why I'm showing up, and I talked about why it's important for you to start to make choices that create a different financial future for you, for your family, for your future, and for your legacy. So if you missed any of that tangentialness, go back and watch the replay. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much again for popping in and out of this conversation. You do not know how much I appreciate those of you that are showing up and engaging and sharing and watching and just supporting me in this journey. You have no idea how much that means to me, okay? I want you to have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm, stay hydrated. Make sure you're drinking your water. Drinking water, all right? I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.